one thing we've seen in these races on live commentary, or TV rather, an inset of the comments from the directors in the radio. Now, I don't know what technology they're using, or whether it's ASO doing it or who's doing it. I presume it's ASO, and whether they're trialing it for other races next year. And I don't know what the delay is because it's got the actual text, so that someone must have transcribed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works, but I think it's really good. And it's actually, because it's not an interview, it's more interesting than when you ask a rider or director after the race, although the women's peloton are generally sometimes more interesting in interviews. It's actual, the tactics they're saying, and versus maybe just a nothing quote. So I think they're really good. I'm not sure how much of an F1 fan you are, Benji, but yeah, have you seen the team radio, car radio stuff there? I think that has to be the angle they're going for.
I think so as well. I think that's the angle they're going for. I think there's multiple aspects to this. We've seen, I think, in 2017, 2018, and in those Tour of Flanders documentaries on YouTube and so forth, that they've got segments of the team cars where they record the people in the team car and you hear what they're saying. And I think for 1 or 2 years, they actually used it in the actual live broadcast every so often as well. I think that's 2017, 2018, that kind of era. But we've seen that kind of disappear in that race. When it comes to the live broadcast, it's still in the documentaries that come out every single year. I think that adds more context and a new dimension to the races, like you mentioned. It gives us more insight of how the people in the team car think and how they respond to certain things, how much stress levels there's going on, how that happens, and also when it comes
ignoring them.
Exactly. That's a very good point. Also, small details, like I mentioned it in today's podcast. Chantal van den Broek-Blaak basically called up her team car, asked for the medical car. Medical car was busy, and she said, "Okay, I'll come by later." Those small concepts of I didn't know how that worked. It's probably logical that she ends up telling her team that she needs the medical car or something, but maybe she should just went to the back of the peloton and puts her hand up, and it worked like that. So I didn't know it needed that team confirmation first to do that stuff. It's all those kind of details that gives more information to people that are viewing the sport and gives more of an idea that there's more going on than just people pedaling on bikes. And I agree with the point you made about the fact that we've got this in the Tour de France Femmes, the team car radio on the screen right now. We've also got the gravel stage introduced in the Tour de France Femmes, for example. We see often that the Dauphiné in the men's cycling universe is being used to try parcours for the Tour de France the year after. I think Megève was used last year's Dauphiné and was in this year's Tour de France. That's one of the examples I can think about. I think there's probably more than that.
Did Koos win on Megève in 2020, the crazy stage 5?
Possibly. Yeah, true. And I think we see that ASO's simply trying to use certain races as a testing ground. And it would not surprise me if it's the same case here. If it's the same with the Tour de France Femmes, where they're trying out both the gravel pod and both the team car radio part. Because imagine if the men's race had that, and that we had the Netflix series have the radio in there.
Well, I think maybe they'll have it. No, they 100% will have it in the Netflix series.
Okay.
They 100%, they must have, because Flanders Classics has it on delay in their documentaries, the 1 hour Ronde van Vlaanderen ones. I think there will be huge resistance from the men's side to have this on live TV. Directors will say, I can see it now, directors will be like, we cannot be giving other teams a competitive insight into our tactics during the race. And then it'll show what they're actually saying. It'll just be like, vamos! Well, they're not saying anything.
Venga.
Yeah, I'm being harsh on Movistar, but all the teams probably they might be overestimating the nuance of what their advice is. Not in all cases, but I guess there has to be. I don't know how it works in F1. I'm a hand on heart or hand up. I am a Drive to Survive Netflix F1 fan. I'm not an actual real F1 fan, so I don't know anything. Like how the radio works. Do they have code, or is is all F1 radio. Any communication from driver to the engineers or the directors, is that all can be recorded and played? That's what I don't know. Or is there like do they have a veto on what can be publicized? But yeah, interested to see how it goes. Let us know what you think about it, whether you think it's a good thing, whether you think it's a gimmick. I think it's good personally. Can't wait to see more of it. And yeah, cycling moving in the right direction. Hope you join us tomorrow for the Stage 6 recap. Should be another reduced bunch sprint or a break. Thanks as always to Zwift, and we'll see you then. Ciao. The Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is obviously supported by Zwift as the title sponsor, as well as the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. We had a great time in Paris, going to check out the start of the race, and then we were there. We also saw the finish of the men's race as well. If you want to check out Zwift, the best online cycling training platform to make your training fun, you can go to Zwift.com for a free 7-day trial through the link down below.